Hey, what's up nerds? And welcome back to the channel. This is Shoot Move Edit. I know it's been a long time. If you want an update, you can watch till the end. If not, that's fine. You didn't click for a channel update. You clicked for white balance. Cue intro graphic. So when out shooting photos or videos, we rely on different sources of light. These sources of light can be the sun, LED lights, home lights, fluorescent lights, on-camera flashes, off-camera flashes, strobes, that kind of thing. Here's the obvious point. Not all light sources give off the same color. Some have a warm or orange tone like home lights, some have a cooler or a bluish tone to them. Now we know that these lights give off the same color, however our minds will still tell us, for example, a white object is still white regardless of the light source hitting it. And then here's the issue. Our minds will tell us something is still white, but the camera is still going to record it as it sees it. So here's an example. Here I have Absol lit in my frame with my daylight balanced video light. His fur looks white, like it should be. Now let's change the light source. Let's change my office overhead light and see how his fur changes. Now has a warm or orange tone to it. It doesn't change the fact that his fur is still white, but because of the light source, the camera is going to record that orange tone to it. So now I'm going to use the camera's capability to adjust white balance to get it to change its proper color. Now it's proper white and I didn't change the light source. I'm still using my office overhead light. I just went into the camera and changed the white balance. So what's the point of actually doing this whole white balance thing? Here's the thing. If you're out doing regular, like normal people photos and you're just taking shots of family, going out doing stuff, trips, travel, don't really have to worry about it too much at all. The big point is when you're starting doing professional portraits and or product photography. Here's why. You want the most accurate colors possible. So looking at the family photos and all the things that you do in real life, you can, in your mind, understand context and understand what light was going on. And so the colors don't really bother you. But when you're doing professional portraits and product photography, your clients, potential customers, they're just gonna see the image that's on the screen. And if it's orange and the product that you are helping advertise gets that orange glow, that's not the actual true color of the product. Same thing with portraits. If you're not using a daylight balanced video light or strobe, or you're not properly white balancing it, your skin tone is going to be off, and worst case scenario, way off, like some weird green color or some very orange color like they had spray tan that morning. We don't want that. We want the most accurate colors possible, and that is why we do white balance. So now let's talk about what white balance actually is. White balance is a setting that tells the camera what is white. More accurately, it tells it what it's gray. And then based off of that gray is what you tell the camera what it's gray, it'll then interpret all the other colors based off of that gray. So if the gray the camera chooses is actually a little bit orange, it'll then introduce some of the blues to get that color to neutral gray. So here are a few ways to actually set your white balance. Before we start getting into the methods of actually setting the white balance, let's talk about auto white balance for a second. In modern cameras today, auto white balance is actually pretty darn good. So if you're taking out the normal people photos, travel, trips, family events, or whatever, perfectly fine. But if you're taking your photos a little bit more seriously, it's probably time to start manually setting your white balance. And here's why. If you're in an environment, like I've done a couple of weddings to where the light changes constantly. It's outside in the sun, it's under tungsten lights, it's under fluorescent lights. And here's the thing, if you have multiple light sources in the same image, you can, in theory, take the same image multiple times and the color is going to be different because the camera is going to choose a white balance, what it might think is the right white balance. First way to set your white balance in your camera is actually really simple. So use the presets that actually come on the camera already. So for example, if you're out shooting in bright sunlight, switch to daylight. It's a little sun icon. If you're out shooting as overcast clouds, we'll switch to the cloud icon. This goes on for everything else. All of them are very self-explanatory. So when I was shooting Absol, I originally had it at the preset I used for my video light. And then when I switched to overhead light, I switched the preset to incandescent light. And that's simply how it is. Second way to do this is use a gray card. Say you're doing professional portraits and you want to make sure, like we talked about, that you want to have the most accurate colors for your client. Just have them simply hold up a gray card like this one. Just have it hold up in front of their face for the first few shots, and then once you're done shooting, take the photos, go into your post-production software, your photo editor, and then with your software's respective color picker, tap on the area that's inside the gray card and it'll white balance the photos to that. So now on to the third way to set your white balance. If your camera has the capability, you can actually use a photo that you already took to set the white balance in camera. Or, again, if you have the capability, you can turn on the live view on your camera and then set your white balance to what it's actually looking at in real time. So let me show you real quick on my Nikon Z30. Alright, so here I have my own gray card that I use for my videos, for my portraits, and then here is the Nikon Z30. So I'm going to show you a couple ways how to change out the white balance, and then show you how to set it in live view. So at least for this particular model and for many Nikon cameras, we'll go ahead and use the I menu. You'll see down there in the bottom left I have highlighted already, that is a preset white balance, and that is the one that I use for most, if not all, my videos here in my studio. So I can go ahead and select that, and now we have a bunch of different presets. So like I said, we have auto white balance, we have direct sunlight, little sun icon, cloudy for overcast clouds, shade, incandescent light, fluorescent, flash, a color temperature select, so you can click on it and you can actually adjust for it. So now you can set to a very specific color temperature, but that's probably for another video. So for this one, we're gonna go to the preset manual one, and then if you look down here at the bottom, you'll notice an OK with the dash for measure mode. What that means is press and hold OK, so I can press and hold. And now a little yellow box has come up. What this means is whatever's ever inside that yellow box is what the camera is going to measure for white balance. So I'm going to simply move over my gray card. Auto exposure is going to kick in, and I'll place the crosshair so that way it'll focus. So now go ahead and focus it up, and then press OK to measure. It's going to take a photo. There it goes, data acquired. So now the preset for the white balance has already been taken and it's already set on the camera. So it's on preset 1, press the I menu, and it is on preset 1. Another quick way, if you're a Nikon user, is setting your function buttons up front. So this is mainly for the newer Nikon Z series cameras. So I have one of my function buttons set to just white balance. So there, you see it? So now I can adjust it on the fly just like that. And I can do the same technique by pressing and holding over preset, and then it automatically jumps into that measure mode. Press OK to measure, takes a photo, and white balance is set. Alright, so I did talk about warm and cool tones throughout the video. Now there is a white balance adjustment that deals with green and magenta tones. This is called tint, and we usually see this when we're working under fluorescent lighting. Fluorescent, okay, just to make sure I said that right. Fluorescent light often gives our skin a weird green tone to it. Same rules apply. Use the appropriate preset or use a gray card. Just having fun, taking snapshots, whatever, auto white balance is just fine. Have fun, take photos. Take weird photos of your friends and stuff. But if you're taking your photos seriously and you want accurate colors, then take the time to learn your camera setup, how to adjust your camera's white balance, and invest in a gray card. And at the absolute least, just make sure you're shooting in RAW. If you're shooting in RAW, then you can actually change the white balance in your editing software. So if this video actually helped you out and you learned something, you learned what white balance is, then like the video. If you didn't, well, don't, and then like before, you can even dislike the video, but let me know why. Maybe there's some things that were still confusing for you, or maybe you just have more questions. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments down below. So that way I can address those questions and I can even make future videos better. Until that next video, later. Alright, I'm surprised you guys are still watching at this point. And I'm honestly surprised and completely humbled that you guys are taking the time to hear what's going on for me and the channel. So here's what's been going on over the past year and why I really haven't posted. Most of it is really because I've just been lazy about actually doing it. The other part of it is I am currently in the process of transitioning out of the U.S. active duty military. During that time, I make sure I've done all the stuff that I need to properly exit. I've been taking the time to make sure my family is taken care of, where we're gonna live, making sure we got a house, and all that stuff it entails. And on top of that, doing the Army's Career Skills Program, or CSP, to get me trained up for my next career. My next career, when I get out, is I'm gonna be a cell tower technician. On top of that, as my full-time job, I'm gonna be still doing photography on the side, as well as this YouTube channel. Now the course for this YouTube channel is still gonna be the same. It's not gonna change. It's gonna be on topics of photography as well as basic level content creation. I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, if you guys want, if there are particular topics or questions you have on those subjects, just let me know in the comments below. And as always, until the next video.